Good day to one and all. Today I am deeply honored and happy to introduce to you our study entitled Filipino Seafarers Live Experiences Towards a Wellness Model. Before I continue, allow me to express my gratitude to the members of the committee of the PNEE for giving us the chance to share with you the results of our study. And to continue, allow me to recognize my co-authors of this particular study, those people who contributed to the finalization of the study. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to Ma'am Gina May Basco from Yerson University, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and of course to my wife, Maria Cecilia Ditoso Alimen from the University of San Agustin. Now to continue, introduction, seafaring is considered by many to be one of the most stressful emotionally and physically. Of course, we know that seafaring is very stressful, especially for Filipino seafarers who are always separated from their families. They cannot avoid that because of the nature of their work. So generally, Filipino seafarers are aware of the dangers of stress. And stress may cause illness, particularly the excessive emotions it generates. So in order to understand our study, allow me to introduce to you the following questions. First, what are the stress experiences of seafarers? Second, what are the stressors among seafarers? Third, what are the coping mechanisms of seafarers under special circumstances? And the last one, what wellness program can be instituted based on this particular study intended for the seafarers? Conceptual framework. Here you can see our conceptual framework, the lived experiences of our seafarers on board and during their navigation, during their trips, international trips, and also their experiences with their supervisors and fellow crew, and also their physical and emotional experiences. So here you have the stress, stressor, and coping mechanism or behavior. And the result is the comprehensive wellness program for seafarers, a bio-psychosocial-spiritual approach. Theoretical framework. This study was anchored on Van Manen's in the year 1990 phenomenological theory of lived experiences. Phenomenology is both the description of the lived-through quality of lived experiences and description of meaning of the expression of lived experiences. So methodology, here we use a qualitative approach in our research, and then we use also a researcher-made questionnaire, which was validated by the experts. Then the data derived from the questionnaire, elicited data when it comes to stress, stressors, and coping strategies of the seafarers. Qualitative research method was used in this particular study. And of course, we use also case study in order to apply the theory of Van Manen and the phenomenological research design we use also. And we have also the semi-structured interview guide for our study. Research respondents, we selected 10 seafarers in our study in Iloilo City. The 10 selected participants were chosen because based on our criteria inclusion suggested by the experts and maritime education and training, and also suggested by the experts and evaluators and research and instrumentation, and also in psychology. Research instruments. The research instrument was submitted to the experts for content validation, and the experts validated the research instrument and evaluated the contents of the research instrument. Then after that, the researcher, we improve and polish according to the suggestions, recommendations, and remarks of the experts in research psychology and instrumentation. Research methods we use here: interview. The interview was used to gather the data that will be needed in constructing our comprehensive wellness program for the Filipino seafarers. We also use here questionnaire, data gathering instrument, to come up with the comprehensive wellness program intended for the Filipino seafarers. And this program is what we call a biopsychosocial approach model. Then in the course of our study, especially when it comes to qualitative research, when saturation stage was achieved, analysis of data was conducted immediately. So after we achieve, or after we reach the saturation stage of our study, so we already analyze the data. Findings. Number one, the seafarers had experienced disturbed sleep, headache, and depression as their main stress experiences. And of course, the stressors, or the severe stressors, were the following: because of the delayed promotion. So some of them experienced delayed promotion on board, insufficient income, and children's poor health. So they have the problem of their children's health and children's poor academic performance. So the seafarers' coping mechanisms were praying, talking with friends or shipmates, and viewing movies. Now, this is a wellness program. Now, a wellness program is a comprehensive wellness program for the Filipino seafarers. This is a biopsychosocial spiritual approach, and the design was generated from the interviews, focus group discussion, and also case studies of the lived experiences of the seafarers. And the drawing or the schematic diagram of the program resembles the steering wheel, which symbolizes the seafaring profession. Now, to further explain our wellness program, or the biopsychosocial spiritual approach, this is a holistic and comprehensive activities or strategies that seafarers can engage to assure their overall wellness and also to develop them physically, spiritually, and emotionally. Now, this concept includes the different responsibilities of seafarers when it comes to health, lifestyle, and also when it comes to their profession. So the comprehensive wellness program coincides with the different experiences of the seafarers when it comes to their life experiences, and that includes biological, psychological, social, and spiritual dimensions. So here you can see the diagram of wellness program. At the center, you have the comprehensive wellness program for seafarers. So you have the four components: the biological, of course, the physical needs of the seafarers, the psychological, the emotional needs, the mind, the concept of the mind, and the emotional, the psyche, and then the social, the relationship with with the family members, the relationship with the crew on board, the relationship with their fellow seafarers, with the officers, and also the spiritual. This is the domain wherein the seafarers express also the need to pray and to communicate with God in order to ask for help, especially in times of troubles and in times of work and in times of accidents on board. So components. So of course we know that as explained in the previous slides, the components of the model are biological, psychological, social, and spiritual. So these the different components are interconnected with each other in order to have a holistic approach among the seafarers, especially when it comes to their lifestyle, and it comes to their profession, and it comes to their family, and the relationship, and also when it comes to their ambition in life and their aspirations. Conclusions, seafaring is a stressful job, of course, we know that. And then we know that the different stresses that they experience, that the seafarer experience, as discussed earlier, disturbed sleep, headache, depression, and also the stressors are, of course, the promotion, the problem in promotion, the income, the insufficient income or not enough for them, and of course the condition of their family, their children, and also the academic performance of their children. The seafarers coping behaviors or mechanism include the following. Of course, in order to cope with the different stresses on board, the seafarers apply the following. So they try to talk with their friends, with their shipmates, with their fellow seafarers, and some of them viewed the movies on board, and of course some of them pray and in order to increase their faith in the divine providence. And so these are the coping mechanisms of the seafarers, and these are related to comprehensive wellness program of the Filipino seafarers in order to help them to cope with the different problems on board and different stresses on board. So here the recommendation, the management of shipping companies should enhance the spiritual life of seafarers by holding mass or spiritual activities on board at least once a month. Or if not, Bible study or spiritual meeting may be instituted. So there should be also Bible study, and also reading of the spiritual books. There should be also medical and psychological checkups for the seafarers when they get home and when they go back to their ships in order to prepare them psychologically. Then training should also include psychological and the emotional preparation of the seafarers to keep them actual, to keep them prepared, to help them to prepare for their stressful life on board. And of course, if there are some hijacking, or if they experience hijacking, or they experience the different accidents on board, it is also recommended by the researcher that there should be also training on how to handle the different stresses, especially mental stress and also some of the psychological stress. Then wellness program should be implemented by the management in order to assure the well-being of the seafarers. Then, of course, the researcher would like also to recommend parallel studies or more studies in order to determine some other factors that will be related to the life and welfare of our Filipino seafarers. So thank you for listening. God bless us all.